Hi everyone. Hello all. Thank you so much for joining the Startup Club Health Tech Investment Conference. My name is Spotwan and I'm the host today. I would like to start by briefly introducing the Startup Club because there are almost always new joiners, new attendees. The Startup Club is a global entrepreneur community. We connect startups with investors through these industry-specific investment conferences and fundraising events since 2019. So we organize more than 120 events. So about 500 startups pitched to thousands of investors so far. And we are not just doing this for health tech, but we also organize events in fintech, green tech, B2 tech, fashion tech, ed tech, prop tech, and the list goes like that. We also started working with handful of startups at a time more closely with their, fundraising and strategy. So we'll see how that goes. By the way, apart from this industry-specific events, we also had AI competition this year, and we're having another one also later this year. And coming back to today, so today we invited 8 amazing presenters. So each company, you are seeing on the poster right now, each company will do 6-minute presentation, followed by 5-minute Q&A with the advisory panel members. I will also ask the panel members short introduce themselves. So each company will have 11 minutes. That means for 8 companies there will be 90 minutes pitch and post-pitch discussion. Apart from this presentation and after presentation discussion, there won't be any other agenda, and there won't be any break. So the event will take less than 2 hours. So we will finish before 8 p.m. European time and 2 p.m. Eastern time. And I guess that's all for now. And let's meet the panel members. Tiffany, would you like to introduce yourself? Thanks so much for being here, joining.
Absolutely. So I'm Tiffany. I'm a principal at 7Wire Ventures. We're a healthcare VC, mostly focused on Series A and digital health and tech-enabled service companies, exclusively healthcare.
Great. Thanks so much, Tiffany. Beatrice? Are you there? Maybe she is just late, so let's move to Lauren. Could you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Lauren Roberts. I'm an investor at Forum Ventures. We're an early stage B2B SaaS focused fund based in New York City with offices in Toronto and San Francisco. And our thesis is really just B2B SaaS, which obviously includes health tech. So super excited for today.
Great. Thanks so much, Lauren. And Mary? Okay, maybe she's late as well. Hamza, could you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi guys. Hamza Abdelhadi, based in Dubai. I'm a senior principal at Angelini Ventures. We're a $500 million fund, invest in healthcare, US, Europe, Series A and B, medtech, health tech, and biotech. And been investing in digital health for the past 10 years with different pharma CVCs.
Great. Thanks so much for joining, Hamza. Beatrice, could you please introduce yourself? I see you.
Yeah, happy to do so. So Beatrice, associate at CRB Health Tech. We're a VC firm based in Barcelona, Madrid, 50 million fund focusing on seed, late seed, early A investments with initial tickets between 750 up to 2 million and then up to 5 million per company. Specifically investing in what we understand as digital health or health tech. And all across Europe, I would say.
Great. Thanks so much, Beatrice. And I just received a message from Anne-Marie. She will be there within 15 minutes, so she will potentially miss the first presentation, but then she will join and introduce herself. All right, now we can start with the first presentation, but actually also everyone, all the people invested in the audience, you can interact with the presenter by using chat, but only the panel members after presentation will directly interact with the presenters, asking questions, making comments, but you can also, if any question or comments, feel free to use chat. Also, you can introduce yourself by, do network there, no worries at all. And now we can start with the first presentation, first company. Samplimy Medical is the first presenter, Patrick. Yes, now I gave you the permission. Patrick, you can share your
Okay,
screen. Go ahead
great.
with the presentation when you're ready. I will set the timer. So you have 6 minutes for pitch, then 5 minutes for the Q&A. You will hear beep after 6 minutes pass. So you can start when you're ready.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. Great to see everyone. So my name is Patrick. I'm CEO and co-founder of Samplimy, and we simplify sampling, unlocking access to biodata at frequency and scale. So why is this important? Well, Italy recently introduced a law where all children are to be screened for diabetes type 1. And this is due to a new drug that can slow down the progression of disease if caught early. However, that means that they now need to find all the kids in need of this drug. And therein lies the problem. Getting 6.9 million children to take a blood draw is next to impossible, especially with our current impractical sampling standards, requiring both healthcare professionals and complex coach and logistics. And as new therapeutic responses like this enters the markets, large-scale screening starts to make more sense and can save both lives and costs. But easy and accessible sampling is key for early and scalable detection. And the revolution happening in the omics now lets us spot diseases years before symptoms, early enough for new therapies to delay the disease itself, transforming medicine with new insights into our biology. And driven also by healthcare shift toward preventive actions and consumer demand for self-monitoring in the longevity and wellness space, this creates a flywheel driving the need for better real-world biodata, meaning collecting more biosamples more frequently and from more people. And this is where we provide the missing puzzle piece. And the timing for our solution is perfect. There's a paradigm shift towards microsampling, replacing these insufficient standards. And it's all made possible by recent analytical advancements, now requiring a fraction of the sample volume, which also led to a rise in finger prick sampling, but these are painful and messy, and none of these methods really meet the new need for high-density sampling and biodata. But this is exactly what Samplimy's technology is built for, painless and simple sampling to unlock the full potential of preventive and predictive care. And we do this by allowing for a simple self-sampling in the comfort of your own home, where the samples can be sent by regular post to the lab and thereby removing the current impractical barriers of venipuncture. But we also limit the user and contamination risks associated with the two-step finger prick method, resulting in pre-analytical errors and renders the samples useless. And we have developed two products for this. One is a small device that you can stick on your skin and simply push a button for an automatic and painless extraction of a tiny amount of blood directly into an analytical paper. And it's this one-step collection process that is also part of the patent. And we see clinical trials as one of the key markets for this product. Today, 80% of studies are delayed due to recruitment, compliance, and dropout issues, often because of cumbersome travel or procedures for the participant, and it's cost a lot of money. And this also drives the demand for more decentralized and patient-centric sampling solutions. And patients also prefer self-sampling and are willing to adhere to more frequent collection, which is important, because frequent sampling also brings downstream analytical values. Omics and AI predictive models need high-density input data for best output. And Samplimy can then enable this with scheduled measurements like before and after medication, exercise, or symptom flares to capture these more accurate and informative real-life time points, which also then improves efficacy measurements, can identify gradual or non-responders earlier, and therefore inform the de-risk future study designs for faster trial completion. Our second device goes beyond blood, and it collects dermal interstitial fluid, which is the fluid in between the cells in your skin. And unlike circulating blood, interstitial fluid contains unique local bioinformation, which unlocks new possibilities. For instance, replacing tape stripping or biopsies, where dermal interstitial fluid here provides unique deeper tissue insights where the active biology happens. And we believe this could set a new gold standard for skincare and dermatology. And this is only the early stages of fast-growing multi-billion euro markets, all in need of more biodata. And with our biosampling market growing alongside, today estimated at 10 billion euros, but expected to double in the coming years, where we expect a sum of at least 180 million, split between research and diagnostics. And we aim to position ourselves in these new emerging markets where our moat is to provide the most cost-effective and easy-to-use solution for frequency and scale. And we will start in research to verify our products with early adopters prior to regulatory approvals, while simultaneously then identifying high-impact applications that we then can bring into the diagnostic markets for screening, self-monitoring, or healthcare. And we already have several research customers and studies in the pipeline, where we look at everything from hormone monitoring to brain health, as well as a pilot project together with Procter & Gamble's Global Research Unit, who actually tested most of our competitors in the ISF space, but preferred our device for its performance and home sampling potential. And they're now also looking into expanding in the project into neuropathy, a very interesting area. As a sales model, our baseline is selling sampling kits, but we also see an opportunity to position ourselves further up the value chain as a service provider together with strategic partners, or for high-impact applications, provide complete turnkey solutions. Now, the team behind Samplimy is world-leading researchers in the field at KTH, paired with business developers from pharma and medtech, and together we create a strong cross-disciplinary team for bringing this innovation to a global market. And we have come a long way, only on non-dilutive funding, with first MVP, pilot, and patent now approved in US for the ISF device. And we're now aiming to accelerate the business and have opened a pre-seed to finalize both products and reach next commercial phase. Our pre-seed round is at 500,000 euros for 50% of the company, which will give us 18 months runway. And our mission is clear. We will provide the sampling tools needed to easily screen 6.9 million children and fundamentally change how we can access biodata more often and from more people. Thank you. I'm open for any questions.
Great. Thanks so much, Patrick. Great presentation. Tiffany, would you like to start? How did you think about it?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for that great presentation, and love the vision. Can you help us understand a little bit, like there's a lot of potential for this technology in terms of form factor, but also potential patient population. It sounds like you're starting with pediatric type 1, is that right?
Yes. So for the blood device, for instance, we do see pediatric type 1 as an interesting starting point, partly because this new therapeutic device or treatment has come out, and we have some initial dialogues with some of the players. But obviously, the application for this device is agnostic at this point. You send back the sample to a lab, so this will work for any type of screening where we can detect the biomarkers, basically.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then what do you think is the timeline for expanding beyond that? So it sounds like when you're commercial in 2028, you'll start with this pediatric population. Will you stay with the pediatric population, or like what's the plan to expand the TAM?
So we definitely so at this point we're sort of doing this exploratory research within the research market where we can establish early partnerships. We see that obviously low-hanging fruits is within the pediatric field. This is painless, and we might be able to create traction there. But we're also looking for instance, in decentralized clinical trials, it can be used for any type of trials where you want to collect, more easily collect samples, and most importantly, when it's frequent. I mean, you might be fine with taking a finger prick once a week, but after week 54, it's not so fun anymore. So you have a lot of dropouts there.
Right.
For the ISF device, obviously, we are now looking at what we call base applications, which is then, in the skincare, replacing tape stripping, etc. But we also are looking into some high impact vertical, let's say, where, for instance, breast cancer, where we are looking at precision medicine applications where you can measure much better treatment response by measuring locally, or even screening opportunities, for instance. So it all depends a bit on some of the collaborations we have now early on.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you. Beatrice, do you have any question or comment?
Yeah, no, just to follow on that last comment. So my understanding is that in terms of indication, and that will kind of fix the path towards FDA and CE clearance would come and will be driven in some sort by the research and academia partnerships that you are currently developing, right?
Yes, that is that will definitely drive that. I need to add also that we are under the MDR class 2A. So we can be agnostic in that sense that we can provide a sampling tool to any type of researcher, and whether they then want to apply it as a diagnostic tool, they will have the IVDR classification or fix that. So we are not locked into this, proving that specific application, like, which gives us much more room to sort of expand as a product provider or a component provider. Obviously,
Okay, understood. No, understood. But just to kind of also shape this next phase of like research to like the proper commercial revenue gap, right? Could you elaborate a little bit on the strategy you're planning to follow, a little bit more in detail? So you were talking about diabetes type 1 because of a certain drug that's currently being positioned in the market, right? But also on, as we've explored the so many different indications, what's the strategy here?
Yeah. So at this point, it's a bit different for the two products, let's say. But for the ISF device, we are focusing now on the base applications in replacing tape stripping and biopsies primarily. And that would be within skincare or dermatology. So that's where we're having partnerships, for instance, with CROs and CRCs, which would be a gateway to customers for us. So we want to establish that kind of channels out into the market instead of building our own large sales force. Obviously, with some research we're doing there, that might really change our trajectory into focusing on one vertical. But that comes more once we have more evidence on those verticals.
Yeah,
for the blood,
I have to stop you there. Actually, your time is past, but feel free to complete your answer by using chat or right batch. I don't
okay.
know.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Patrick, for the presentation. Great to be with us today.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you. The next company, Unephra, Ferhat will share the opportunity with us. Ferhat, feel free to share your screen and start when you are ready.
You say PATTERNOX?
No, Unephra, Ferhat, right?
That's right. Give me a second, I'll share my screen.
Oh.
I thought I'll be number 4, but take the opportunity here. Let me know, do you see my screen here?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Hi, everybody. I'm Farhat, co-founder and CEO at Unephra. We are extending clinical care from hospital to home using our automated continuous urine monitoring platform, and our beachhead is heart failure management. This work is supported by a number of parties such as Permanente Medicine, Plug and Play, and Techstars. So far, we have raised $500,000 and utilized it to validate our product. We have secured up to 350 pre-orders from a B2B customer, and we are launching our first pilot study with Permanente Medicine later this month, and we just ran a demo with them just last week. So the problem we are targeting is lack of visibility for clinicians to the recovery of patients post-hospital discharge. For example, in heart failure, this results in a high readmission rate costing up to $15 billion annually. Currently, there are nearly 7 million patients in the US with heart failure. Every year, more than 1 million are hospitalized. But the actual problem is that within 1 month post-discharge, a quarter of them get back to the hospital, which is also penalized by the payers. And combined financial burden is up to $50 billion annually right now. Hospitals are penalized, payers get stuck with the bill, and patients are still at risk. Now, our solution to this problem is simple. We have developed a urine monitoring sensor that is mounted inside the toilet and keep track of key biomarkers linked to the increased risk of heart failure in this example, and share that data with the care team instantly, enabling them to proactively intervene and prevent an avoidable and expensive hospitalization and save billions of dollars every year. And all this is done without any active engagement from the patients, without any efforts, and because, as you know, everybody has to take a pee. That we can successfully extract key risk factors, both for heart failure and hypertension. This is a busy data, but I'm going to skip this. Of course, there are products in the market. For example, for severe cases, there are implant sensors, but are expensive and invasive. In the low-tech system, there's weight scales, simple weight scales that are standard of care for heart failure management, but they severely suffer from low adherence and late response. There are, of course, toilet sensors in the market, but unlike all of this, Unephra is the only passive solution that can address cardiovascular disease management. Our customers are across value-based and fee-for-service, of course, health providers, hospitals, payers, and insurers, and we have an immediate opportunity to scale into wellness market in parallel. Our international patents pending in 5 different regions in the world, claiming sensing technology, hardware design, and of course, processing algorithms. We have secured 130 pre-orders, 220 more in the pipeline. We are launching 2 pilots, one for heart failure management with Permanente Medicine and one for hypertension center with Stanford, and we have active conversation with a number of partners for other applications. We have secured our classification and pathway and test strategy with FDA so far, and we expect clearance by next year. So our data as service model generates up to $1,100 for heart failure management, and the market goes beyond $16 billion across heart failure, hypertension, and other conditions. And we have a solid go-to-market strategy to start from 2 locations in the US and scale across our different hospitals. Our immediate milestones for the end of this year is generating revenue by shipping our pre-orders and freeze the design to get ready for clinical data collection. Next year, we'll go for contracts and FDA clearance and expansion to heart failure management, hypertension management. We'll be cash positive by 28 and break even in 29, opening a window for acquisition, M&A, basically as an exit, predicted exit. Today, we're raising $500,000 at a $10 million valuation cap and 20% discount, total of $2.5 million for the seed round. This fund will help us generate revenue, FDA clearance, and finalize our PMF. Basically, previously we raised $500,000 from Techstars in partnership with Permanente Medicine, Plug and Play, Hatcher Plus, and a number of cardiologist angels. So this is our team. My background is electrical engineering, been in medtech for more than 10 years, developing sensors for medical applications. My co-founder, Pedram, is a Stanford nephrologist and intensivist. Our chief medical officer is a practicing cardiologist, and our chief technical officer is focused on AI in medicine. We have a regulatory scientist on our team as well. Thank you very much. I'd be happy to take any questions you have.
Great, thanks so much, Farhad. I just saw Anne-Marie just joined before the presentation. Anne-Marie, would you like to introduce yourself? Welcome. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much, and my apologies for being late. The perils of living in Copenhagen, where you have to bike home. So, Farhad, great pitch. Looking forward to getting into it. By way of introduction, my name is Anne-Marie. I'm the head of investments at Unconventional Ventures. We're a pre-seed, seed, early stage investor based in Copenhagen with a focus on impact and underrepresented founders. We invest in climate, resilient infrastructure, and health. So, very glad to be with everyone today.
Thanks so much, Anne. Mary, would you like to start with your comment or question if you watch the pitch, the
Can
whole
I
pitch?
can I go third? How does that sound? Can I go third?
Yeah. That works.
Good.
That works. No worries. Lauren, would you like to start? What do you think?
Yeah, sure. Great presentation. Thank you so much. My initial question is curious to know, how do you fit perhaps into the workflow, after discharge, and who actually is using this data maybe on a day-to-day, and maybe what are those triggers that kind of invoke, action when like risk is detected, and hopefully that made sense. But that's my follow-up question.
Yeah, thank you very much for the question. That's a great one, in fact. So we work with home care companies, and after discharge, the hospital will put the order, and we'll ship the product to the home care company. They will install it in their toilet, and for heart failure patients, there is an assigned care team in the hospital. We make the bridge between these two, basically. And the data, we have the cloud solution that analyzes data day to day as the patient is using regularly the bathroom. And if things are going the wrong way, if there is a increased risk of like a fluid overload, for example, based on the trend of the data that we are measuring, we notify the care team, and the care team who are already assigned to this will contact the patient. They would have an understanding if, for example, the patient is taking their medication, or if they're not adhering to the restricted diet, so they could proactively advise them the right way in order to de-escalate the situation such that the patient doesn't have to come back to the hospital. So these care teams are already assigned, and there's a high risk of patient readmission within the first few weeks. So this is how the system is working.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Hamza.
Yeah, thanks, Farhad. Can you just expand a little bit on your reimbursement strategy? Is this a remote patient monitoring device?
Again, another good question. So we have different models, as you know. So in the US specifically, there's value-based system like Kaiser Permanente and fee-for-service system. It happened that value-based systems are very interested in our product because they're combined. They are the provider, payer, and insurer themselves. So this is why we are launching our first pilot. This is why they invest in our company, and we're launching our first pilot with them. In this case, we got a agreement through a direct reimbursement from the value-based system. Like Kaiser will give us up to $1,100 per each patient they are discharging. So this is direct reimbursement. For fee-for-service, however, this is a very different model. We will start with remote pay RPM program. There are available CPT codes that we can readily charge. We don't need to create them, and it's entirely based on RPM. It does not generate as much revenue for this, like up to $600 per patient, but that still is profitable for us. And then later we would bargain a similar around $900, $1,000 with the insurers in the future. But right off the bat, once we get the clearance, we can charge available CPT codes through RPM program for fee for service.
Thank you. Anne Marie, do you have any question, or can I skip you this time?
No, I had a quick question. Just back to sort of like the sort of clinical behavior, right? Alert fatigue is something that is quite real. So how many alerts does a typical patient generate per week at this point? And how are you making sure that clinicians don't start ignoring them overall?
That's another great questions. As you know, the physicians are tired of these new technologies, getting them alerts and notifications. Honestly, we don't know yet because we have not collected enough data as of today. So we will be doing this in our. We have a two-phase pilot with Kaiser Permanente. We're launching our first phase this month, and the second phase would be later. But the second phase would provide enough information to answer exactly the question that you have. Nonetheless, I would like to mention that these care teams daily call the patient right now by phone or telehealth systems. And we will not only generate just notifications for them, but we will provide a dashboard for them that have direct visibility into their labs for the patients that are not available today, enabling them to make a better informed decision.
All right.
So
I have to stop with our pilot actually because I gave you additional 30 seconds because we used some of your time. But
yes,
yeah,
that's fine. Thank you very much.
Presentation. Thank you. All right. So the next company is Nano for imaging. Rudolf will share the report with us. Rudolf, you can share your screen and start a presentation when you're ready.
Do you see the full screen? One question. Yes. Okay, perfect.
But we don't see it right now. If your camera is open, we don't see it. Or maybe it's not open. I don't know.
You don't see?
I see the screen, but I don't see you.
I don't know what happened. Then I'll try it in this way. Yeah, excuse me.
Okay, I know.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm Rudolf Schulze-Fohren, CEO and co-founder of Nano for Imaging. With our tracker platform, yeah, we will revolutionize the radiology. Okay, how we are going to do that and why MRI? Let me start first there. On the picture, on the image on the left side, that's an X-ray image. Yeah, you see the bones and you see a device. You see it clearly, very clearly, but you do not see what you would like to treat. You don't see the tissue. You don't see the vessel. You don't see the organs, like the heart on the right side, which is an image from an MRI scanner. To see things in the X-ray or under fluoroscopy, you need contrast and you are under radiation exposure, which you don't have in the MRI. And on top of it, in MRI, you have excellent soft tissue visualization and real-time imaging in 3D. So scanners are available. Scanners are cost-effective. Meanwhile, also other devices like monitors, metal-free monitors or trays. But what is not available, so that are compatible devices, and that is navigation software. For this, we developed our tracker software with three elements patented. That first is Magnify, which is a multimodal markers, yeah, which are applied to the devices. Our first device is a guide wire, a metal-free guide wire. It's Emery Glide, and the markers are included there. The markers can also be applied to any catheter or to needles. And then we have our tracker platform. The algorithms of the software, they detect these markers, and that makes it easy to navigate the devices in the MRI. At the same time, you also can segment the tissue where you would like to perform the device or put the tip of the device. Yeah. Okay, our software and our consumables, so the devices work with all systems, GE, Philips, and Siemens. So this is now how it works in principle. Yeah,
the tracker software interrogates the DICOM data files for the presence of the passive MRI markers on the devices. In this video, we will show you how this is done during abdominal angioplasty of a thoracic aortic stenosis. In this case, a guide wire with 3 tip markers with a specific distance from each other is inserted via the femoral axis and moved slowly upward towards the predefined stenotic area. Our software traces the number and distance of the markers. Just like a GPS system, it traces the position of the device through the tip. Even when the markers go out of the selected plane, the software will detect the 3 markers and show the position due to the 3-slice scanning. Now that the wire is positioned in the target area, the angioplasty balloon catheter can be moved over the wire to the region of interest. It has 2 markers on each side and can be moved over the guide wire towards its distal position. The 2 balloon markers can be matched to the 3 markers of the guide wire pre-positioned in the stenotic area. The guide wire is then retrieved to allow balloon inflation. At all times, the markers on the tapered tips of the balloon remain visible.
So if you see the inflating balloon, you can imagine that you also can do stenting and many other procedures. This is our team. My co-founder is Paul Baum, a well-known toxicologist. Today with me is Cansu Allemeyer, our CFO. Let me also mention Samuel Müller, our CTO. He has already built a robot that treated over 30,000 patients. Now, we have a growing hospital base and performed already 250 right heart casts. We started at the German Heart Center, moved to Johns Hopkins, who helped us with animal trials for the FDA. The last kid on the block is Harvard Medical School with Mass General Brigham, and here we work on an embolization to treat osteoarthritis in the knee. So we do not walk alone. Strategic partners are on board. Just let me mention Siemens Healthineers. We have an LOI with them, and they would like to integrate our tracker platform, our tracker software, platforms. Important milestones are achieved. Recently, the reclearance of the Emery Glide guide wire. We also got confirmed from MCRA, who are the McKinsey's in health economics, that our products are reimbursable in the US. Another important point is, so that was a pre-submission of the FDA for the FDA clearance, and it looks pretty good, and we are very confident now so that we get the FDA 510(k) in the second quarter of next year for our software. So far, we have raised 60 million. Family offices dominate our cap table. Our Series A goes for 10 million plus. The EEC, that is the European Innovation Council, they will join with 5 million. Our own shareholders will contribute 2 million, and we invite external investors to give us 3 up to 10 million. First, MedTech for C signed already an NDA, started the due diligence, and would like to lead this consortium. So we have the team and the technology, and I'm happy to ask your questions.
Okay, thanks so much, Rudolf. Great presentation. Tiffany, would you like to start? Do you have any question or comment?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Rudolf. Great presentation. Can you talk a little bit about the milestones for this Series A? It looks like from a runway perspective, maybe it gets you to Q4 of 2027, but what will you unlock with the Series A?
Maybe I can take this one, Tiffany. I'm Cansu. I'm not sure if Rudolf heard you, or he has been having maybe technical issues. With the 10 million, we would like to cover our US launch and build up the team there and the commercial, basically commercial team, and start the operations. We have a corporation in the US. We have a subsidiary, but it's a small one right now. We start with grassroots activities currently, and we already started selling to hospitals, but to scale up, really we need the funds. And further R&D projects are also in the pipeline for further indications and derivatives of the Emery Glide, the existing guide wire, and to bring out catheters and other devices also into the market. We will also need part of the funds for that.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Tiffany. Beatrice?
Yeah, maybe for following on that commercial rollout, if you could elaborate briefly on how you envision the workforce required, right? It does seem initially like a pretty intensive training period, but just to understand a little bit better on the structure following the company.
As a matter of fact, the training period is not the intensive part. We have a reference center in Dallas, UT Southwestern Medical Center. And typically the training of further hospitals takes 1 day. We bring in other doctors in their respective hospitals. They can collect the information, they see it in action in Dallas, and then they bring it back into their hospital. But the time-consuming part will be the changing the workflow in their hospital and applying the SOPs. But in that case, Dallas is also very helpful giving out this information. So what we plan to do is next to our sales team, obviously having 2 to 3 sales reps to begin with, and the CCO, we would like to extend these training activities with the reference center. And build up maybe
I
further.
understand that it will primarily be driven by direct sales of your own team.
Direct sales. We started in previously when our guidewire was FDA cleared, before we changed the supply chain and re-cleared. We started with a distributor that was pre-COVID, but that didn't really work because it's an innovative product that requires that we take take the doctors by the hands, more or less. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank
Thank
you.
Lauren, do you have any questions?
Awesome. Great presentation. Yeah, sure. I'm curious to know, given that it seems like this works across you mentioned different, whether it's GE or Philips or Siemens, how hard is integration at each hospital site? And, what does that maybe deployment period take across those different hospital systems?
The typical deployment period would be 6 up to 12 months. And we have, for instance, with GE, we're working on a co-marketing agreement where they introduce us to their sites, which they've done already with one, for example, Le Bonheur in Tennessee. And this, of course, is a great reference when we come in through GE or Siemens, when they say, okay, we have here a company, because they have now scanners that are possible to do interventions with, and they would like to get them or see them utilized. That's why basically we get the introductions and we can go through them to the hospital, get listed as a supplier, and get the trainings done, take them to our reference center. As I said, 6 up to 12 months.
Yeah, thanks so much. Thank you, Jans, for the answer. Thanks so much for the contribution.
And I'm happy to take any further questions in the chat.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Next page is PATTERNOX. Ophir will share the board with us. Ophir already shared his screen. Ophir, you can start when you're ready.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Hi, guys. I will show you why we are ready to commercialize our first prize-winning scanner, how can we save lives, and why we are relevant to any clinics and home users. We have an innovative imaging system, a scanner, ready to be converted to mass production. We have a patent granted just in January, in the middle of the CES, after 6 years. We have clinical trials, a unique AI methodology with potential to serve as a telemedicine. So far, we have raised $600,000. My name is Dr. Ophir. I'm electrical engineer and PhD in electro-optics, the inventor and the CEO of PATTERNOX. I was motivated by my mother's battle with skin cancer when I invented the scanner that can detect deformities or abnormalities under the skin, a warning sign of skin cancer. So you need to know what develops under your skin. You see, the problem is that skin cancer detection relies on color at late stage, leading to a high mortality rate. And innocent lesions like these two can be lethal. Can you tell which one is cancer? How do you know if you don't look under? Our solution is PATScope, an innovative handheld scanner to detect deformities under the skin at early stage. We are the first in history to detect deformities as a precursor to skin cancer and cosmetic problems, two huge markets, including the information about the surrounding of the deformity for the first time. The scanner extracts light movement under the lesion surface. This is our unique technology, as demonstrated in the clinical trials at the Skin Center in Florida. In addition, with our first of its kind AI, we can provide an informed estimate about the risk or the level of the risk. Our clinical trials at the Skin Center in Florida got IRB approval about their methodology. We collected more than 15,000 images of lesion deformities, or again, abnormalities, for more than 500 lesions. A first of its kind database, by the way. Then we trained an AI to supply the risk level for future telemedicine. We expect to get class 1 for home use scanner and class 2 for the scanner for clinics. From the 2 billion people, that's what the statistics shows. I have the article, I can supply it later. 2 billion people today with skin deformities. A subgroup of them is skin cancer. The market growth can reach 40 billion. The first market is, according to regulation, Europe and US, then the MD sub for Canada and Brazil, then China, Russia, and Arab countries, of course. Our three main markets are first use PATScope for dermatologists at the hand of dermatologists, and of course, general practitioners, as well as beauticians, laser removal practitioners. These markets will drive home users adoption, making PATScope a household item. The revenue projection is 50 million for the next years, after seed round, of course. The revenue model, it's 4 centers. We can expand it later on, but for the device itself, the revenue for the home use, we're going to sell it in about an average smartphone. So the revenue is about 200. We can produce it today between $80 and $100 and sell it between $300 and $400. But for professional use, it's $2,500. There is also an element of telemedicine and virtual meetings, and of course, reimbursement and payment about the AI, but the AI is just an addition. The core technology, it's the method itself, which I invented, as well as the algorithm. Our main competition is with digital dermoscopy that is mostly based on color at late stage or for the late stage. Other competing technologies are just ineffective method for the late stage. And again, we can expand about this later. We won 2 first prizes in AI contest and also in the Shark Tank TV show. And to be the first in Israel, believe me, it's hard. And we have a lot of hospitals that approach to us and wants to collaborate with us. The main sales method will be B2B2C and B2C, but also B2B. Most of the revenue, according to the business plan and the business model, is from B2B, but I have a good feeling, at least intuition, about B2C. The founders, me, the inventor, and the CEO with international experience and 1 exit, it's important. Dr. Galitzer runs the clinical trials in Florida, Dr. Kleiner, strategy, and Dr. Lepitsky is a surgeon, head and neck. Collectively, we have more than 150 years of experience. The scanner sales can reach hundreds of thousands, means we can get even to a few millions units, I believe.
Okay.
So the last slide were the asking $2 million investment. This will bring the scanner to the world faster. Now, a buyout by a large company or IPO is optional, but with our unique scanner and AI and virtual meeting and reimbursement in the future, we will dominate the market by saving lives and making history. How would you like to be part of it?
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks so much, Ofer. And Marie, would you like to start? How did you think about it?
Yes, very good overview. Thank you so much. That slide on your customer segments was really interesting because selling a cancer device directly to home users is a very different regulatory and liability position, as you know, than selling to dermatologists. Can you walk us through which of the three segments are you actually launching with first, and how you run the home use scenario past the kind of regulatory hurdles?
So naturally, we go with 3-4 circles. First, it's dermatologists. They are the first to get the scanner, the PATScope scanner. Second, general practitioners. Now, this is the first prominent market. The dermatologists, there is about 40,000 in US and also in Europe. But the first prominent market is about between 100 and 150,000 general practitioners, and they are the first to need this scanner. They don't know what they see, and patients see them first. Then beauticians and laser removal practitioners, actually, they approach to me first, and this is about 5 million just in US. I'm taking the cross-section of US. Because they remove lesions. Sometimes people come with 5 lesions and just one lesion looks suspicious. But with this scanner, we can find maybe other lesions also suspicious. It's just not seen by color. There is no pigmentation. And that's why we're losing lives. That's how we lost my mom's life, because she skipped a line and an appointment, and she had malignant melanoma, and it was metastasized, and she was died a year ago, and unfortunately. So I'm trying to save other moms, but it's dermatologists, general practitioners, beautician and laser removals, and then home users. When the home users will see that the professional world is using it, and actually everybody can use it. My family use it, my young kid can use it. It's very easy to stick it to your skin, press a button, and you see the deformities under the skin, and an AI will tell you what you see. But you even don't need the AI. It's just a new way of imaging that actually can save lives, because you see when the patterns are random, it's okay. But when the patterns start to be kind of an explosion from the middle outward, it means something is going on there, and it can save your life.
Thanks for that.
Thank you. Hamza, do you have any question or comments?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for that. Can you tell us a little bit more about the clinical trial design and the inclusion criteria? What are the patient profiles? Is it people who are already diagnosed?
Yeah. So we choose almost any age in the whole spectrum, from an innocent lesions or just cosmetic problem up to melanoma. And we split it to 7 levels: benign, atypical, mild, severe, mild, moderate, and severe, and BCC, SCC, and melanoma. This is the most prominent lesions. And we scanned all of them. Of course, we got a concession from a patient, and after the scan in Florida, after the scan, they've been sent to have histology, a removal by excision or Mohs surgery. So we have a database which parallels the imaging itself, how it looks like, and the histology results. Okay. Now, at the beginning, we started to see correlation between histology and the pattern. Now, just remember, this kind of a new MRI, CT, ultrasound, with all modesty, it's a new family of imaging. It's a new language, how to see surfaces, by the way, in general. And when you have the histology, you can study from it. And we are the first in history who is doing that. That's why I'm always excited when I'm talking about this. It's really emotional for me, but the fact that we see new information that never been seen before, it's really, really exciting.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, Ofer. Great answer, great presentation. All right, then let's move to the next company. Ibex Biosciences will be the next company. Murat will share the opportunity with us. Murat, you can share your screen and start when you're ready. By the way, for the rest of the presenter, we always suggest that keeping your answer a bit shorter so that you can interact with more advisor, get more questions, so that it will be maybe more interesting for all the people in the agency and investor. So just a quick note before the pitch. Murat, you can start when you're ready.
Do you hear me and do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. I have a multi-screen, so I'm going to look here while I look at the slides. In our presentation, we're going to focus on our two drugs that we have shown in animal models to have efficacy, and that is malaria and colorectal cancer. So the market is enormous. There are over 1 million deaths in both indications. 250 million people are affected by malaria. And colorectal cancer, there are deaths exceeding 54,000 in the US, worldwide, 900,000. And people ask, why so many deaths in colorectal cancer? It's only second to lung cancer. The standard of care works in about 65% of colorectal cancer patients, but the other 35% have resistant issues. They have about 12 to 18 months of life remaining. So here are our solutions. For malaria, it's a single dose naked antibody that binds the red cell surface receptor of red blood cells, CD147. It prevents the Plasmodium falciparum, the merozoites, from entering red blood cells, and it cures the infections immediately. This was tested in the gold standard animal studies. The validation was performed by the Gates Foundation preferred vendor in Spain, Art of Discovery. For colorectal cancer, it's an antibody drug conjugate and is shown to eliminate tumors in independent gold standard animal models of chemo-resistant colorectal cancer. Note this platform has the potential to expand into other cancers and other non-cancer indications. So this is how an antibody drug conjugate works. I'm going to play a short video. The antibody is in pink. The green, blue is the antigen. It goes into the tumor using a vesicle, merges with another vesicle. And then you have enzymes that come up and clip the chemo agent from the linker. Chemo agent is then released and the tumor is killed. Now I'm going to move this here because okay, here's. So why CD147? You can still see my screen, I hope.
We can see half of it actually right now. Now we can see it.
Perfect. Let me expand it. My fault. To the left, you can see the response group for chemotherapy. And here you have very low CD147. The survival is 80%, but where you have high CD147 expression, you have survival at only 20%. So this correlates against patient survival. The drug was tested at the National Cancer Institute. It worked from 7 out of 7 cancer cell lines. And then we took it into an animal model where this was conducted in Germany at Reaction Bio in a hollow fiber model where the tumor cells were implanted under the mice intraperitoneal, which is chest cavity, subcutaneous. The drug was administered by IV, and we had a 98 to 99% respective reduction in cancer cell viability. The next model is a solid tumor, which was an HT29. It's representative of about 30% of colorectal cancers. That was implanted in the mice, and each of these dots represent the mice and their tumor weight. At the end of the study, the tumor was eliminated, and the control, you see the tumor weight went to 1 gram. Cisplatin was a positive control. It reduced about 40%. Here you can see the body weight, which is a measure of toxicity. As you see, the control gained about 5%. And our test groups were about the same as the control, whereas the chemo agent lost like 5 to 10%. So it has a very good toxicity profile. So over the last 10 years, we've validated these two indications. And we are a lab with scientists. We have 10 of them in 2 different labs. One's molecular biology, one is immunotherapy dealing with antibodies. We have other drugs coming in our pipeline, including glioblastoma NASH and B-cell lymphoma, which is a non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So we do drug discovery. At least we completed 2 of these, and we're entering human preclinical enabling studies. And we're raising money to do human phase 1 clinical trials for both malaria and colorectal cancer, and perhaps others that might be successful. And of course, if we're successful, average IPO for some these companies are 26. I mean, we don't have to go IPO. We can also license to large pharma. I would suspect ours would do much better if we have full translation. So how we differ from other companies, obviously we have some epic results with our drugs, absolute cures, and we don't see much toxicity risk, and we have a team of very competent scientists, including Dr. Dela Cruz, who invented peptide phage display technology that was recognized in 2018 Nobel Prize. Dr. Norman Lai, who worked for Dr. Roscoe Brady, invented the lentiviral gene delivery system. And myself and Michael, who are both non-scientists, administrators. I've been studying biotech companies and working with them for the last 20 years. So market potential exceeds 20 billion. Investment to date is over 20 million. That was over 11 years. Our offering terms is a discount for 20%, interest 12, and a conversion before 1/1/30. We like to go IPO or biopharma licenses within 4 years of closing this round. And we are a first mover. We have great patent coverage. So I heard the bell, and I think I'm pretty much done. So I thank you for your time.
Thanks so much. Great presentation, Murad. Tiffany, as you think, do you have any question or comments?
Yeah, I'm not a biotech investor, but I do think that it still would be helpful just to understand the milestones of this particular raise, and like how it sets you up for the next round.
Great. So we would actually do a phase 1 human study, which is, in the case of malaria, it's a challenge model. It would be done at Johns Hopkins. Volunteers would get administered malaria and infected with the parasite, and our drug would be tested. It's called a challenge model. It's quite common. And with colorectal cancer, we would do a stage 4 patients that have less than 12 months of life remaining. We would do it as a first-line treatment on a stage 4. And so we believe both studies will go pretty quickly. We're not going to putz around because, cancer trials can take a long time, but one's acute and one's a stage 4. So we should get a result very quickly.
Thank you, Tiffany. Beatrice, anything from you?
Yeah, maybe this is a long shot question, because I know it still might be early to engage in those types of discussions, but have you engaged with any biopharma particularly interested? I mean, probably some of them have already tried to target this specific CD147, right? And they failed, right? And they might be interested, and you might have already started engaging with them. If you could briefly elaborate on any of this, or on the strategy moving forward to start establishing these communication channels.
So if this wasn't novel, we could have licensed this to large pharma immediately. The only place this drug has been used in human studies or in primate studies is in the country of China. And they've well published this. I can send you the publications. In the US or in Europe, there's been no conjugated antibody or naked antibody human studies within the US or EU and in this formats. So this is posing an issue with large pharma. They would like us to do a phase 1 safety study to ensure that it's safe. But in terms of precedence, if you trust the studies published in China, there is absolute precedence, including in normal volunteers, and it's showing no toxicity. They have a phase 3 COVID with the naked CD147. And there was also a conjugated antibody that was in the market in China for about 20 years, a radio-labeled antibody. So to answer your question, indeed, there is precedence. And those precedents are in China and not in the EU and not in the United States.
Okay, understood. But in terms of potential support, interest, funding that you could find from any of these to push, maybe not in this initial like phase one, but like moving forward, and potential, as you've said, I mean, as I briefly explained before, like interactions that you might be having already with any of them, showing those preliminary, like very impressive results.
Right. And I think the consensus is we'd like to see a human study, proof of concept in humans, and then we will act accordingly.
Okay.
One group said they would like to see primate studies. And I think the FDA is moving away from primates. And we know this because of our interactions. So we have one opinion that says, please do a human phase one. Another said, please do a primate study, because this is a target without precedence. So those are the two feedbacks we received.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I guess.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was going to say that this next phase really sets a big inflection point, I would say. So.
All right. So we have about 20 seconds. Maybe not get any more questions, but Murat, if you have anything to add, you can do it now.
Yes, I mean, I would like to say that that the malaria study would be very fast and effective, and the margins are low, but the amount of drug cost of goods sold would be like 50%, 50 cents. And so I think it would be a great opportunity to come in at a great compelling valuation. Our next drug is brain cancer, so that could have, we have a pipeline.
Yeah, thanks so much. Thank you. Thanks a lot. All right, let's move to the next company. The next pitch, ATI, so Advanced Medical Technologies. Thomas will share the opportunity with us. Thomas, you are muted now. You should unmute yourself. Yeah, right now you are muted, so you should unmute yourself. If you are having issues, maybe.
Okay, now.
Okay.
Now.
Okay, great.
Great. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I need to find my presentation.
Yes, you should share your screen and start your presentation.
But I have a problem here. I am not able to see it. Wait a second. Let's see if I can see it here.
Thomas, while you are like arranging yourself, should be like.
Yes, okay, just a minute.
Okay.
Okay, and here we are. Okay. Your eyes, our vision, your health, our mission. I hope you see it and can continue.
Yes. Yes, we see it.
Great. What do? We did develop the first device and the first technology. We are pioneers in it that dilates the eye pupil without the need of any technology. Not the use of any drops, any substances, and we do it in less than 2 minutes without all the side effects that you have when you are dilated by the different substances that the doctors use in order to see what's going on inside your eye. This is a huge step forward in medicine. We know that from all the visits that I had in all around the world and in the different companies like Zeiss in Germany, Topcon in Japan, Canon in Japan, and so on and so on. I can move forward to others. The problem today is that we have a lot of discomfort out of it. It is time consuming for the patient and for the doctor, and it has also some risks that most of them we know. We can drive after we are dilated, we can read. It's very difficult to work. But if you do it with our technology, you will be able to do that after a few minutes, not more than 2 minutes later. Okay, here we have the film. Okay, this is the part of the film. We use an electromagnetic field that radiates into the eye. It's a very, very, very weak field. And if you close your eyelid, the field won't go inside your eye. So basically, this is something that goes in our favor because we know that we are very, very safe. Our technology did already get a CE certification, also Israeli healthcare health ministry AMAR certification, and we are going now to the second generation of the device. What will be the difference between the first generation that you see here and the second generation? Basically, that it will be a binocular device and not a monocular device like it is today. There are other changes as well, but basically this is the most important. I will try to show here something, if I am able to do that. I will try to show you, no, I will show it later on in a different video, how it works, how it dilates the pupil. What you see here is the doctor and the patient. The doctor is looking inside the eye. He's using also a small lens in order to magnify even better the picture that he gets from the fundus of the eye. If I could, I would show you that I have here the same kind of slit lamp that we have here in the picture, just at my side, with the film installed on it. We use it, we do many tests with it. Here you can see a slide where you see an eye pupil. The green lines are only to measure the diameter of the pupil. The red circle is a pupil. The white line is the light that is projected into the eye by the slit lamp during the examination. So basically, here we have the eye pupil with a diameter of 242 millimeters at the beginning. 30 seconds later, you can see that there is a big change already in the size of the pupil. 60 seconds later, 90 seconds later, 120 seconds later, and I hope you see it now. This is 30 seconds after we put the device off. So you can see that the pupil after 30 seconds is almost between the size between the one after 30 seconds and 60 seconds. So you can see that the pupil constricts back very fast. This means that you can walk, that you can drive, that you can go up and down the stairs. You can do whatever is needed. Sorry. Comparison table, a dilation onset takes with eye drops 20 to 30 minutes, instantly with the film, up to 8 hours, less than 2 minutes, the recovery rate, post-exam effects, blurred vision, stinging red eyes, unable to walk or drive, none whatsoever, difficult to use with elderly people, very easy to use with elderly people. Patients' safety, one of the biggest problems that we have with those substances that are dropped into your eyes, that there are people who suffer from what is called a narrow angle syndrome.
By the way, time is up, Thomas. Maybe final words before.
Okay, I will need. Okay, if time goes up, then I can't do anything about it at the moment. We have already regulation past EMC test. The FIM first generation has received the European C, Israel Ministry of Health AMAR. We do it very fast. FIM second generation will be robuster, binocular, easy to use, more economical, faster, etc. And use for funds, okay, we will get indeed after it. Target market, you cannot see it so well, I think. Target market is basically in the US, we have 145,000 doctors, different neurologists, families, doctors, ophthalmologists, etc. In Europe, another 288,000, and in the rest of the world, almost 700,000 doctors.
Cool.
This
Let's
is the
continue
market.
this presentation on the Q&A
Okay.
because it's less than 4 minutes. So maybe Lauren, would you like to start with your comment, what you think about it?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much for the presentation. I guess the biggest thing here, just curious to know on the go-to-market side of things, as far as timing, are there any tailwinds that you guys are seeing currently from like a regulatory perspective or otherwise that, make you all uniquely positioned maybe to enter into this market and gain some market share?
No. First of all, we don't have any kind of competition whatsoever. No one was able to do that till today, thanks God. I was in China. I gave in a congress where I gave a lesson in China, in Fuzhou. I gave a case with the device inside. I told the people they can try to do reverse engineering. It didn't work. It didn't work for them. It didn't work till today, and I'm grateful for that. We don't have a very big problem, not with regulation and not with certification. Basically, because we are not invasive. Okay, we don't touch the eye. We don't drop anything into it. We just radiate a very, 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 very weak electromagnetic field into it. It was not easy to do that, but we did it. It has a very big impact with children and with elderly person, and of course with people like us that work and do their day-to-day work, etc. This is what I can say. We are aiming now to go to the FDA, also to get new CE mark for the second generation, and of course CFDA and all the rest of the certifications that we will need worldwide.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. And Mary, do you have anything to ask or comments? Is she disconnected? I didn't see, but maybe she did. All right, Hamza, do you have any question or comment?
Yeah, thank you, Thomas. What kind of trials do you need to run to get the FDA approvals?
Okay, we did quite a few medical researches in the past. We did here one in Israel. We did one in Singapore at SERI, Singapore Eye Research Institute. We don't need a large number of volunteers. Again, because it is not an invasive device. I would say that what we aim to do in the future is not to do a device like we have here. Okay, I won't take it out. One size fits all, but we want to aim to do a device where we can also classify the patient. If he's a color patient, if he has black eyes, or if he has blue eyes, those differences are active also with the different substances dropped into your eyes. But we want to classify it in such a way that it is more exact, so that when we use the field, okay, the field is adapted to the type of patient that we have in front of us.
Yeah, I have to stop with Thomas. Thank you so much. Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you very much for the time.
Today. Thank you. All right, then let's move to the next company. We have two more presentation, including this one. So the next company is NeuroScan Diagnostics. Michelle will share the opportunity with us.
Oh, just a moment.
All right.
Okay. Can everyone see and hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I see.
Okay. All right, here we go. So my name is Michelle McQuarrie. I'm here on behalf of NeuroSync, who's one of my business partners. I'm going to focus today on a Series A raise for NeuroScan Diagnostics, which is part of NeuroScan. I guess think in the Neuralink area, if any of you are familiar with what Elon Musk is doing with his company Neuralink. So we're in that space, and I'm super excited to be here representing it. I have a couple of decades with corporate with Abbott and AbbVie. And I partner with businesses to expand awareness to wellness modalities, including something like this, which neuro wellness is very close to my heart. So I'll get into the Series A as rapidly as possible. We're focusing on this headset right now that's ready to market, but there's other things coming out very soon, including smart clothing, EMDR, and there's an extremely robust pipeline, also including brain-to-brain mapping. So we're asking right now for a $2 million Series A raise. What's beautiful about this and separates it from a lot of the EEG headsets out there is the reimbursability. Having worked with medical professionals, they desperately want something reimbursable. So we're targeting a great need in neurological care. We're targeting GPs, although this is available for home use. To get into a neurologist, there's often a long wait time. I've experienced that personally with my own health issues. And they also lack the tools. So we've made a seamless way for physicians to monetize directly treating their patients with a very easy to use platform and medical device. And I'll drop the actual device details in the chat. I don't have time to go through it now. But with all that's going on neurologically, personally, I can't wait to get this device. It should be arriving here in a week. My family could use it. I don't sleep well, and as an entrepreneur, I'm just under a tiny bit of stress. So we're offering a complete diagnostic service, and we're deploying it specifically to these GP offices. It's a very large market. It requires, unlike existing models out there, very little GP training. I could pick it up and do it as a non-practitioner. EEG has been highly reimbursable through Medicare and other insurance companies. So that's already done. And we have the ability to, the physician or wellness professional can get reimbursed at $1,200 a patient, which is extremely valuable. We also have the AI-assisted interpretation of reading the brain and treating it in the areas it needs to be done. So simple process, identification, conducting the test, we get a report, and then we bill Medicare. Here are the CPT codes that are widely used in the market currently. You can see the revenue potential. As a physician, some of you on this call, you would see the value in bringing in patients. And these are conservative numbers because the market is just huge. Speaking of the market, $18 billion. It's an addressable market of $18 billion. And we're conservatively guessing that about $4.2 billion these practices would qualify just through Medicare. And our 3-year target is about 120 million. And that's again conservatively based on 500 practices at a $1,200 reimbursement. Here's the financial projections for NeuroSync and NeuroScan Diagnostics. You can take a look at that. This presentation will be readily available. So year 3, we're getting into profit with a break even at about the 22-month mark. So here's how we would like to use this $2 million. And honestly, in talking with the founder, we're already getting there in terms of this Series A, but there's so much opportunity. This is the first time actually publicly promoting this, and it's attracted great interest due to some of the advantages that we have over existing equipment and systems. Okay, so how we're structuring this is in a matter of preferred equity, 9% annual return. invested in your capital dollars. The founder will hold 65%. We have a few board positions here with a lead, an independent director, and governance board. And plan is to exit in probably around the 4 to 6 year mark. We win because we're going to the practitioners first. It's reimbursable. Beautiful raw EEG data, full billing. We are regulatory ready. And a lot of our competition can't say that. I'm pleased to have this advantage. The doctor can use it and the patient at home, like myself, I can order one and purchase one, which I can't wait to do. And there's proven reimbursement. So here's our ask, $2 million with that 9% ROI. We will also distribute a preferred return. And again, this is just a recap. This is the founder. He's a serial entrepreneur in the tech space. One of his more relevant companies is called Vielis, who does wearables, including AI smart glasses, and he's still in things like that. We're also into smart clothing and many, many other things. So Vielis is an established company, and I've already talked about what my company does. That's it. So again, both arms, parallel running GP practice and D2C. I'll send this presentation. These are advantages NeuroScan has over the other things on the market. And that's all. I almost made it.
Yeah, thanks so much, Michelle. Good presentation. Tiffany, what do you think? Would you like to start?
Thank you so much, Michelle.
We are against you.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Michelle, can you talk a little bit about the flow of funds? So understand how the GPs get is the GP getting the full reimbursement and you charge them a rate for using the technology? Like, how do you make money?
The device is actually about a $5,000 device. The Medicare reimbursement part is what the physician would get. And the device in itself, I'll get more information on you, but if you were to buy it as a patient, it would be about $5,000, and I believe also reimbursable, and that's an important question, and I don't want to misspeak on it. Our objective right now is to get the devices out there and into as many clinician hands as possible for distribution to appropriate patients. So please let me get back to you on that. It's a great question to find out how the exact structure is planned.
But essentially, the GPs have to purchase the device. So there's a upfront kind of CapEx purchase for them, and then they will get the reimbursement. Okay,
right.
Gotcha.
Right. And we do want to work with it, at least the initial launch. And just in my network, I have many physicians already interested in bringing this in. We'd like to be able to fund them with the device. We'd like to be able to provide devices. That's part of the screen's bugging out here with those costs and take those costs, because what's going to happen is organically these physicians will act as almost distributors of the product.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Beatrice.
Yeah, I know you said you didn't want to get into the product, and please just redirect me if you're not the expert, but just trying to really see the value versus current EEG, a little bit on how it changes potentially the patient workflow, patient monitoring, to really see the value add, right?
Yes. So the value add, first of all, is that reimbursement component. The second is ease of use. This is just simply a headset, easy to put on. And I think a very important advantage is the AI component that we use for monitoring and tracking with the patients to provide the most precise intervention as possible. And what I will do is I will send you, and I'll drop in chat, the actual video that will explain a little bit more how this differentiates from anything else out there. EEG is great. It's been around a long time. I'm familiar with Symmetry and some of the other companies. But the fact that I don't need a full coaching and training program to be able to utilize this technology is also beneficial. It's just much more user-friendly.
Okay, perfect. And maybe another question related to key milestones, right, to be achieved with these 2 million in terms of, I don't know, number of headsets, number of reimbursed patients that you plan to achieve and time frame.
Let me get back to you on that. I know we do have that information, but I don't want to specifically misspeak. And apologies for the founder not being here. But I promise to get that back to you. So please afford me some grace.
Don't worry. You're defending your battle, right? Right here and really appreciate it. And no problem to get that information afterwards.
I think you'll be very intrigued and pleased with the technology once you see it. And I'm happy to answer any questions outside of this forum.
Yep. And
Sure.
Lauren, we have almost 30 seconds, but maybe not question, but if you have any feedback, I don't know.
Yeah, super interesting space. Thank you for the presentation. I think my questions were pretty much just going to be kind of centered more so on just kind of like the GP go-to-market and things like that. But overall, great presentation.
Well, thanks, Lauren. I already have physicians within my network with All Wellness Alliance ready to grab this, including the president of the Society for Brain Computer and Therapeutics.
Yeah.
So that was a very good in, and he can't wait for us to get it so he can get it.
Right.
So
yeah. Thank you.
I think it will do well. Thank you, Lauren.
Thanks so much, Michelle. All right. We are moving to final presentation. Final pitch is NordicTouch Hygiene Intelligence. Theodore will share the open with us. Theodore, you can start when you're ready.
Hi, everyone.
Hello,
Okay,
Mark.
I'll start. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. Is it showing nice?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I'm going to present our preventive population health product called NordicTouch. The bottom line is that our hands are not clean, and that's the problem we're targeting. About 80% of common infections are surface to hand and hand-to-hand transmission today. And we learned a lot from the pandemic, which strengthened pre-pandemic data, where we discovered that a single contaminated handle can spread to over half of a building's occupants in half a workday. So the cost of this, only from viral and bacterial transmission in the EU alone, is almost a percentage point of the GDP. And the main way to resolve this today is with cleaning and soap washing of the hands. But I'm sad to report that the average for cleaning touch points in Europe and in the US is less than once per day. So this isn't working. So our proposal then is to automate to support this human hygiene compliance by breaking the transmission chain on fomites, on hard surfaces, door handles, buttons, and other areas of the built environment where we have the shared touch points. And we do this by introducing a new smart building infrastructure layer that has three main business components. We have the hardware to do the precision disinfectant deployment, fueled by consumables, of course, and managed by the intelligence layer that both helps procurement, monitoring, and maintenance of the system, and has API integrations to prop tech platforms and building structural platforms of different kinds. So the device itself has a flippable head and advanced nozzles, which support many different door hardware geometries. It sprays a high concentration alcohol and it ships real-time telemetry to the intelligence layer. It also has an integration to ECDC and CDC data to control the firing pattern, so it's not dumb and fires every time someone's used the handle. It follows the viral patterns over the year. And a critical component of our go-to-market is the IKEA model, where customers will self-install and cloud connect the systems without us or anyone else getting involved. And an important detail, of course, is that the device comes in many colors, and You can choose, and surfaces, you can choose to either have it hide in the environment or stand out, which is a critical detail. So we started by acquiring a few core patents on the actual device with an initial commercial track record from the inventor. He did what he could during the pandemic. The patent was entirely new when the pandemic hit, so he scrambled to get something out, but he managed, and he has had a lot of interest when he gave up himself in 2024, and we took over. So we have this massive field data from the install base that is now fueling the version 2 engineering and the smart layers. The initial version was dumb. It was just firing all the time. And we're already taking orders for the beginning of next year. The team this is not an R&D play. Honor to all the previous presenters, but we're coming in and actually focusing on commercial implementations. The team has worked many years on other projects, but we have in the team a civil engineer in fluid dynamics. We have a clinical preventive health experience, validation experience from trials, and a new breed, these experienced AI builders, and also family members in manufacturing, and a lot of enterprise sales experience as well. So we're raising the initial funds to cover the heavy initial cost of the manufacturing of the initial devices, plastics, electronics, firmware, and to expand the IP portfolio before we start deploying. The inventor has invested a lot of money for his first 4 years of proof of concepts and the patents, and he's now an equity partner. So it's an unusually capital efficient hardware investment. Okay, guys, that's all I had. What questions?
Great, thanks so much, Theodor.
Yeah.
Lauren, would you like to start? What do you think about the presentation?
Yeah, presentation, great. Super interesting. I'm curious to know, kind of leaning more into like kind of the use cases and kind of your initial beachhead in terms of going to market. Would love to know more about selling into those groups and those segments, and what does that initial touch point look like, and maybe when you are selling into those, who's the decision maker versus one implementing it.
So a part of the field learnings from the initial proof of concepts is that who's buying, and it's anything from office managers, facility managers, or that side of the maintenance of the facilities. At least the initial version was sold that way. But we are already talking to potential customers, and we can confirm that works. So we're moving in that direction now. But we have also spoken to sports teams. Where the value of reducing a sick day can be quite high. That seems to be working. Then it's not the facility manager, potentially it's someone else on the medical team. So we don't know. It's pretty early. But the bottom line is that it sort of correlates with the regulation that it exists and is coming. There is a need to bring people back into the office, facility managers and office managers on top of that. So there are multiple angles so far, I'd say.
Okay, and just one more follow-up. Just curious to know, how you guys are thinking, I guess, of just kind of increasing that ACV and then also just kind of like that stickiness. So beyond installation, kind of what does that engagement look like with that customer down the line?
So a lot of that will be done by the intelligence platform. I mean, you basically upload your DVGs or PDFs of your facility, one floor, all the floors, doesn't matter, and it analyzes the doors. And it points to the percentage of doors that have the highest value to begin, because we're not expecting people to install this across the board. I mean, approximately 10 to 15% of doors will be responsible for 50, 60% of the viral dissemination. So the AI is pinpointing those doors. And you're pulling a slider to put your own sort of financial cutoff on the health economics to say, okay, I'm prepared to go this far. Right, so that will be grade 1, grade 2, maybe some grade 3 doors. And then you'll see the costing of consumables, and it's all transparent. So a lot of the procurement is supported by this. You're uploading your floor plan, it's identifying, you can correct it, then you say, okay, this is my threshold for what I'm willing to procure. And then the telemetry drives ROI and health economics. So hopefully that will engage them to extend the installation and the install base.
Awesome, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Lauren. Hamza?
Yeah, I don't know if you mentioned this, maybe I missed it, but how much are you selling the device for, and what's your margins on the device?
So undiscounted, if you're literally buying one device, it will cost you as much as 200 euros.
And
But
margin?
the margin is almost half of that.
Okay.
So,
And you're expecting the office manager staff to do the refills?
yes.
Because the liquid
Probably,
will obviously...
yeah, primarily not the office staff. We expect the maintenance, the cleaning teams and maintenance teams to do it. So one of the main deliveries is the way that the platform delivers these daily replenishment and maintenance schemas to a mobile app that they can carry around in the pocket when they're moving around the floors cleaning.
Okay.
So it basically pings the phone and tells them, replace the battery here, replace this canister here.
All right, thanks.
Sure.
Thank you. Tiffany?
And thank you so much. Do you mind also talking a little bit about how you envision the IP portfolio expansion? Like what are the kind of future steps on that side?
Yeah, so we are investigating a derivative patent extension that includes the intelligence layer, but we're not sure we need to or even should, because it might not make a difference in the long run. But the primary portfolio development is other fomites, other types of surfaces that we can use nozzles to spray, and primarily geographical.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any more questions from the panel? Tiffany or one of you? Or Theodore, anything do you want to add?
No, I'm happy to continue. We have a lot of materials to ping me, and I'll show you some of the unit economics. Because the structure is good, the unit economics are solid. We can discount all the way down to basically giving away the devices for free, because this is in essence a consumables business. The margins there are amazing, and if you commit to the ROI on the health economic side, the consumables will make sense. And I mean, the grade 1 doors, toilets and lobby entrances and stuff like that, they consume a lot of aerosols. So it's looking pretty good as a business model, I might say. So that would be my sort of send off to investors. Reach out and we'll look at those numbers.
Sounds like that. Thanks so much, Theodore. Great presentation, great answer, and thank you everyone for staying with us until the end of the event. Special thanks to panel, Tiffany, Beatrice, Lauren, and Mary, Hamza, all the presenters. Thanks so much for your presentations, and everyone in the audience, investors, staying with us until the end. So we will always do the post-event communication with all the people here, also people register about they're enjoying, to distribute to companies and stuff, but also continue to promote this event on our socials. The next Health Tech Investment Conference will be held late September, so 3 months after it, after summer. And I hope everyone to see you again in our future events. Thanks so much again. And that's all for today.
Thank you, Startup Club, and all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.